Lagos, the city of dreams. The morning sun rises over the towering skyscrapers of Victoria Island, where luxury yachts sway gently in the harbour and the echoes of the bustling metropolis fill the air. The roads are lined with the sleekest cars, each more expensive than the last. The rich glide through their world of opulence, surrounded by the trappings of fame and fortune. But then there's Ajagunle, a place where the streets are narrow, the buildings old, and the air thick with the scent of diesel and sweat. In Ajagunle, dreams are hard to come by, but it's also a place where ambition and hope fight to survive, even in the face of insurmountable odds. Eli Adebanjo, the youngest tech mogul to make millions before the age of 30, sits in the back of his luxury car as it speeds through the grand streets of Victoria Island. His life is full of things that most people only dream of, but still, there's a hollow emptiness inside him. The love of the women in his life, superficial, empty, and calculated, has left him cold. Money, power, beauty, none of these things fill the void in his heart. But across the city, in a small, crowded kiosk in Ajagunle, Amara Uche hustles through her day working tirelessly to pay for nursing school. She carries a heart full of dreams that seem unreachable, yet she has faith. The sun shines in her eyes and the dust of the streets clings to her clothes, but her smile lights up everything around her. She has no idea that fate is about to change everything. It is a rainy afternoon. The heavens weep as dark clouds crowd the sky. Eli's car breaks down on a side street in Ajagunle, far from his comfort zone, far from the world he knows. The engine sputters and dies. The car's sleek body, a pristine machine, now sits vulnerable on the side of the road. Eli sighs deeply, staring at the windshield as if it's a metaphor for his own life. His phone call to his mechanic goes unanswered. He frowns, frustrated, tapping his fingers on the leather seat. He's not supposed to be here. The discomfort is palpable. Suddenly, a voice cuts through the silence. "Hey there, you need help?" It's Amara. She stands in the pouring rain, an umbrella above her head, her warm smile radiating through the gloom. Eli looks at her, eyes wide with surprise. The contrast between her world and his is staggering, but there's something about her that draws him in. Amara is beautiful, not in the polished way that models or socialites are, but in a raw, real way. She has a beauty that speaks of strength, perseverance, and a heart full of life. Her hair is tied up in a simple bun, and her clothes are modest, definitely not from a designer store, but there's a glow about her. I think I'm fine," Eli stammers, trying to sound nonchalant, but she doesn't back down. "No need to wait outside in the rain," she insists. "Come on, I'll help you find shelter. I don't bite." She giggles, the sound warm and comforting, like the sound of a loved one calling you home. How could he say no? He hesitates, but then, against his better judgment, gets out of the car. As they walk to the small kiosk nearby, Eli can't help but steal glances at her. Why does she seem so real? The hours they spend together that day, talking about dreams, hardships, and aspirations, are electric. Amara speaks passionately about her desire to help people, to use her nursing skills to heal her community. Her words are filled with such hope and sincerity that Eli can't help but be captivated by her vision, her drive. Her laughter is contagious, and as he watches her, he finds himself smiling, genuinely, without the weight of expectations or responsibility. For once, he feels free. Why is this woman different? "Thank you for talking with me," Eli says after a long pause. He leans against the kiosk, his voice soft. "I needed someone real." Amara smiles gently, her eyes kind. "I'm just here, trying to get by. But we all have dreams, even the ones who are struggling." For the first time in a long time, Eli feels a warmth in his chest. A warmth that is not derived from money, status, or empty compliments. It is real, it is genuine, and he wants to see her again. He needs to see her again. Weeks pass. Eli continues to visit Ajagunle under the guise of community outreach, In truth, he's simply looking for any excuse to see Amara. But then, like the cloud that shadows the sun, Vanessa Okoro enters the picture. Vanessa, the model, the socialite, the one everyone knows, has had her eyes on Eli for years. She's everything Amara isn't, tall, perfectly coiffed, and dripping with designer labels. She has the kind of beauty that turns heads in a room, and she's used to having the world at her feet. When she hears that Eli has been spending time in Ajagunle, her jealousy flares. How dare he? She has always believed she was the one destined to be with him. After all, she's the one who fits his world, the world of the elite. But this poor girl from the streets? Vanessa, you need to let him go, Lila, her best friend, says one evening, a mischievous smile on her lips. Lila is ambitious, cunning. She knows how to manipulate the right situations. If Eli's really seeing this girl from Ajagunle, you need to make him realize it's just a fling. Vanessa and Lila's plan is simple: ruin Amara's reputation. They spread rumors that Amara is using Eli for his money, for his connections, for everything he can give her, anything to drive a wedge between them. And so it begins. The press runs a story. Tech mogul falls for street girl, a gold digger's plot. Pictures of Amara and Eli taken out of context flood the internet. Eli reads the headline, his chest tightening as the betrayal hits him like a slap. He confronts Amara. His eyes burn with anger, a rage that's misplaced, misdirected. He accuses her loudly of using him, of lying to him, of playing him like all the others. Amara's heart shatters. How could he think that about her? She doesn't cry at first. Number, she simply stands there, her breath shallow, her fists clenched at her sides. She knows what this feels like. She's lived this kind of heartbreak before. But when the tears finally come, they flow like rivers. Eli can't help but feel the weight of her pain. But his pride, his misunderstanding, keeps him from reaching out. Months pass, but Eli cannot forget. No matter how much time he spends in Vanessa's company, no matter how many lavish parties he attends, he can't shake the memory of Amara. It gnaws at him, the guilt, the regret, the heartbreak. He tries to move on, but it doesn't work. Not with Vanessa, not with anyone. He needs to make things right. He follows the breadcrumbs of Amara's life, visiting the small clinic where she works. He takes on projects in the community, anything to get closer to her. He won't give up, not this time. But Amara, proud and broken, isn't so easily won back. One night, after a long shift at the clinic, Amara finds Eli waiting for her outside. His eyes are filled with an apology so deep, it's almost palpable. Amara, he says softly, I've been a fool. Please, don't shut me out. And in that moment, the walls she's built around her heart begin to crack. Eli doesn't just apologize. He shows her, through his actions, that he's changed. He's given up his privileges, his wealth, his lifestyle, to help her dreams come true. Months of peace and love are shattered when an unexpected revelation arises. Eli, despite his genuine change and efforts to help the community, is dragged back into the world of his old life when an anonymous letter arrives at his door. The letter reads, Eli, the truth about Amara will soon come to light. Her past is darker than you think. There's more to her than the innocent facade she shows. Eli freezes. He had come to believe in Amara's purity, her integrity, but now a shadow of doubt clouds his mind. What if there's something he doesn't know? Something that could break him apart once again? He confronts Amara. The words come out in a rush, filled with anxiety and fear. Is there something you're not telling me, Amara? A secret? What does your past really look like? Amara's face pales. She was hoping desperately that her past would remain buried, that Eli would never find out. But as she looks into his eyes, she realizes he deserves the truth. There are things about me you don't know. Things I've tried to forget. I was involved with dangerous people before I met you, Eli. People who hurt me, who hurt others. Her voice trembles as she continues. I got out, Eli. didn't want you to know. I didn't want you to see me as a victim. Or worse, someone you'd regret loving. Eli listens, his heart aching, but he doesn't leave. He stays, determined to understand, to support her despite the danger in her past. The revelation sets off a chain of events. The same people Amara tried to escape are now coming after her again. They want her back in their control, and they'll stop at nothing to get her. Eli's world, which seemed so stable just days ago, starts to unravel. One evening, as Amara leaves the clinic, she's confronted by two men wearing dark sunglasses. They block her path, their eyes cold and unfeeling. "You think you can just walk away?" Amara feels the weight of their menacing words as her breath catches in her throat. She's terrified, but then, before she can react, Eli arrives. Without thinking, he rushes to her side, his protective instincts overwhelming him. "Stay away from her!" he yells, pushing one of the men back. The tension in the air is thick, like a storm ready to break. For a moment, everything stands still. The men stare at Eli, sizing him up. Then, with a grin, one of them speaks. "We'll see you soon, Eli." They disappear into the shadows, but the danger isn't gone. Eli realizes the stakes are higher than he ever imagined. As days go by, Eli becomes consumed with the need to protect Amara. His focus shifts from the clinic to the dark web of people who want to harm her. But in the process, he becomes more isolated. The constant stress, the weight of their dangerous situation, takes a toll on their relationship. Amara sees Eli's transformation, his obsession, his growing coldness, and feels helpless. She knows that part of her past is haunting them both, and it's pushing him away. One night, as they sit in silence in their small apartment, Amara finally speaks. Her voice breaks. "Eli, you're changing. We're changing. I don't want to lose you, but I don't know if I can keep living like this. This isn't the life I imagined." Eli looks at her, his eyes filled with regret, but his determination to protect her is clear. He loves her, but he's not sure if he's doing it in the right way. "I'm trying to protect you, Amara. Don't you see? This is for us." But Amara interrupts, her words like daggers. "Protecting me isn't the same as loving me, Eli. You're suffocating me." The pain in her eyes cuts through him. She leaves, walking out into the night. Eli stands in the doorway, staring at the empty space she left behind. Amara, heartbroken and confused, starts pulling away from Eli, the weight of the dangerous people in her past, the growing pressure of Eli's possessiveness, and the emotional distance between them become too much to bear. In an attempt to clear her mind, she takes a trip to a quiet village in the outskirts of Lagos, hoping for peace. The serene beauty of the village reminds her of simpler times, before all of the chaos. But even here, the past isn't far behind. One night, as she walks through the quiet streets, a familiar face appears in the distance, a face from her past. "Amara," the man says, his voice laced with venom. "Did you really think you could escape?" Amara's heart races as she turns to face the man, Kola, one of the dangerous figures from her past. He hasn't forgotten her, and he's still determined to pull her back into the world of crime she once left. Eli, who had been following her discreetly, arrives just in time to see Kola grab Amara's arm. Without thinking, Eli charges at Kola, knocking him to the ground. It's a fight, fists flying, adrenaline coursing through their veins. When the dust settles, Kola is bruised and battered, but Amara's face is the one filled with tears. With Kola now out of the picture, Eli and Amara find themselves standing at a crossroads. Eli has done everything in his power to protect her, but now he must face the consequences of his actions. His obsession with protecting her almost destroyed them. Amara, after much soul-searching, realizes that she can't live in constant fear, and she can't let Eli's need to protect her overshadow their love. They have to learn to trust each other again. "I don't need you to save me, Eli," Amara says softly, her voice calm but firm. "I need you to love me, to trust me." Eli takes her hand, his voice breaking as he speaks. "I was wrong, Amara. I've been so focused on saving you that I forgot what's important. You and me. I love you and I'll do anything to make things right. Amara smiles, a tear escaping her eye. We'll do it together, Eli, as a team. And so they begin again. Their love isn't perfect, but it's real. Months pass and things begin to settle. Eli continues to build a better future with Amara, leaving behind the obsession with wealth and status. Together, they open a clinic that not only serves as a sanctuary for the people of Ajegunle, but also as a testament to their resilience, their growth, and their love. Amara becomes a nurse with a passion to change lives, while Eli, no longer the young mogul of the past, finds fulfillment in giving back to the community. They don't need the luxury cars, the high-end parties, or the material things to define their success. Their love is enough. One evening, as they walk hand in hand through the streets of Ajegunle, Eli stops and looks at Amara, his eyes full of admiration and love. You were right all along, Amara. You were the one who saved me. Amara smiles, her heart swelling with happiness. And you saved me too. They stand there, in the heart of the city that brought them together, knowing that the greatest treasure they've found is each other.